Okay, well, this year my name is Chuck Walking, and I'm walking across the United States. I have a Facebook group where people are following me along the way. It's linked to a fundraising site I have for people with ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. I'm doing it because I'm writing a journal as I go across the United States. I want to write about the year 2010. And so one of the things I want to do is just write about this year. And then as far as the fundraising, I have a brother with ALS who's been good at fundraising himself. And I'm trying to support his charity and help him with his fundraising work. And then I'm also walking across the United States because it's a lot of fun. It's fun for people to watch me, and it's mostly a fun thing to do. Okay, I started May 13th, right outside of Washington, D.C., and it's August 15th, and I walked here to Britt, Iowa. So far, I'm somewhere over 1,200 miles in walking, and I've taken a couple of weeks off where I haven't walked. You know, I've taken some breaks along the way, but I've walked all the way here from Washington, D.C. I plan to walk to California. I should be done around January or February. A day in the life, I wake up, I drink instant coffee with cold water. I pack all my camping supplies into little bags, like nothing I hate more than packing up my sleeping bag. They condense down so small, but it's a lot of work. So I pack up my tent, my sleeping bag, all my equipment, pack it onto my jogging stroller, and I take off down the road. Usually a half hour after walking, I'll stop and eat a little snack. I'm warmed up then, and might take a look at a map, get a rough idea where I'm going to be at the end of the day, and I start walking. I stop at every convenience store along the way, grab a cup of coffee, visit with the people in there, find out a little bit about the towns I'm going through. Sometimes I see people on their front porches. I'll stop on their front porch. A lot of times people will give me a Pepsi or an iced tea. I'll stop and have a 20-minute, half-hour conversation with strangers. By the time I leave, we're no longer strangers. And I walk some more, and sometimes I'll stop and take breaks and get to meet people. I meet 8 to 10 people a day and talk to them, you know, for 15 to 20 minutes. And I walk along. About 2 hours before the end of the day, I start thinking about where I'm going to sleep. I never know where I'm going to sleep at night. And I start looking for a place to camp 2 hours before dark, and I always find a place where I have permission to camp, and I've found a variety of interesting places to sleep along the way. I spend most of my time in small towns too, between Washington, D.C. and Rochester, Minnesota, first little leg of my walk. Rochester was the biggest town I was in. That's 100,000, but most of the towns I go through are towns of 400, towns of like 200 people. Some of them are 1,200 people. I've probably spent more time in towns under 3,000 than anybody this year, or you know, maybe even last year. I don't know. I know a lot of people in small towns along the way. Well, no, you kind of pegged the reasons right there. It's easier to travel through smaller towns. There's less stoplights, there's less traffic congestion, and yeah, I get to meet people. If you're going through a busy town and stuff, no one's going to have time to talk to you. I go through small towns, I get to meet people a little more intimately. It's easier for me to travel through town, and I travel slower roads. It's definitely prettier, better way to see the country, and a better way to meet people. Nothing against big towns, it's just, it works easier for me. Easier to find a place to camp. Yeah, absolutely it is. I stopped in a small town 2 days back, Kennesaw, Iowa, and I called the mayor and asked for permission to sleep in their city park. And he gave me permission to sleep in the city park. And as I was setting my tent up, it was a hot night with lots of mosquitoes. He came by and asked me if I'd like to sleep indoors for the night. And I told him I always say yes to that offer. And he rented a building to somebody in town, and they only used it 1 day a week. So I was able to sleep in the lobby of a doctor's office overnight. The next morning, when I was saying goodbye to the mayor, he mentioned that the hobo convention was here in Britt, Iowa. And it was right on my way. I remember National Geographic when I was a kid seeing pictures of the hobo convention here in Britt, Iowa. And I was well aware of what was going on. I didn't know it was this weekend. And it was right on my way. So I stopped here in Britt, Iowa, pushing a backpack with a baby stroller and all that. I'm not exactly somebody who rides the trains, but I live a very similar lifestyle. And it was a place where I felt comfortable camping. And I was comfortable around the people here, and it was a great experience, a great place to stop, and totally just by random chance, really. Well, yeah, you asked me about my shoes, and I have an uncle with a shoe store, and he's been supplying me with shoes for my trip across the United States, and he has supplied me with a really nice set of Echo boots, and I'm not lying, these are like some of the most comfortable shoes I ever wore, and I'm darn glad my uncle owns a shoe store. It's O&B Shoes in Rochester, Minnesota. And these Echo boots are holding up great. I want to make it all the way to the coast. I'd like to make it to the Pacific Ocean. My destination's Los Angeles. San Diego would be just fine. I have a fundraising goal of $30,000. I'd like to meet my fundraising goal. And I think I'm online to do that. And I know, like, I'm walking toward Colorado Springs now, and I haven't seen my brother for a while, and I'm really looking forward to spending a couple of days with my brother and getting the trip done so I can get back to whatever my real life's going to be when I'm done doing this. Okay, and I'd like to tell you how to follow my trip. I have a Facebook group called Chuck Walking, and you can follow my progress along the way. I have a link to a fundraising site there, and that's one easy way to donate. Also, my fundraising site is www.firstgiving.com/Charles LaRue. Thanks for watching my video, and I hope some of my friends out there with ALS see the video, and I hope I can provide some entertainment by my walk and my trip across the U.S. And I hope I give a lot of entertainment to people along the way. And this is a lot of fun.